Welcome back to At Home with Till and Scott, episode number 2. We know you loved number 1, so we're back. We're back again.
Did they? My mum thought it was amazing.
Did she watch it?
No.
Oh.
So, apropos what we kind of aim to set out for this chitty chat, you've had quite an emotional week. Do you want to share a bit about that and where that's come from?
Yeah, no, I have been feeling like kind of like this low level, you call it.
I call it.
Well, you call your anxiety like this low level anxiety. When you get anxiety, and now I've taken on that got low level anxiety.
No, my low level anxiety is just that. That's what I contend with on a day to day.
Every day, a low level anxiety.
Yeah, but I like it.
Oh.
Yeah, it helps me put one foot in front of the other.
Right.
Without it, because I've tried it, microdosing mushrooms and CBD.
Yeah.
It removes that, and then I'm just less motivated.
Okay.
But when I get anxiety, I've got anxiety.
Right.
It steps up from the low level.
Well, maybe mine's not low level anxiety then.
No, I don't think so.
No, it's probably...
I only notice it because it's very out of character for you to be anxious.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like my normal state of being. I think it's from, obviously adding more stuff. It's actually not that. Like, I actually love working. I love creating. I love doing things. It's the opening it up to more of an audience and then potentially receiving criticism that obviously as Instagram grows, that happens as well. Like there's such an amazing amount of support that comes in and love and generosity and encouragement that comes in through the Good Farm Shop. And then, of course, there's like the occasional troll, and it'll be the occasional troll that just unravels me. Like that's what I'll focus on.
Yeah.
That's the chat that then gets into my head.
Isn't that like a human character flaw that we get rocked by the one negative, and it's almost like the 1,000 positive don't reverberate with us. Yeah.
And then the trending thing that I knew I wanted to speak about was the ABC Four Corners 2-part series Duped about food fraud in Australia, which completely sent me into an anxious spin.
I think, yeah, I mean, it just sprung to my mind that in the time that I've known you, I feel like you watch... this isn't a criticism. It's just, I guess there's a difference in the way that I feel things and you feel things. So you'll watch a documentary, whatever it may be, and there's some, people going through hardship and struggles, and you feel it to your bones. Hey, like you go to bed feeling it, you wake up and it'll stick with you for days, weeks.
Yeah. Do you know why?
Yeah, because you've
I'm a Pisces.
Right. I thought it was because I was a psychopath.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, like you feel things very deeply. And so, go on about the food fraud. Yeah,
I think there was a big part of me that obviously being in food production, I wasn't surprised because I know how much of a lack of regulation there is. Like I remember when we started the Good Farm Shop and we were producing food for consumers. And we were like, we're sourcing from regenerative farms. We're sourcing organic ingredients. Like we were making claims. They were real claims, legit claims, but we were still making claims. I just thought there must have been someone that comes in and goes, all right, what's your business about? Oh, you're making health claims? Like you're saying that you're a healthy ready meals company? Let me see all the oils you're using. How much sugar are you putting in there? None, but are you what you say you are? Yes, the council comes
I don't
and
think
goes.
That they have the resources, because if you think about most food businesses, there's so many of them, not all of them, but there's so many. But out of that, so many, there's a lot that are making some sort of sustainability claim, green claim, health claim. Even like, your fast food outlets, they're making some sort of like health claim. And then there's legitimate health products that can stand by what they claim that they're standing for.
Yeah.
Like our good friend Josh, who had Thrive back in the day, he got sick and tired of trying to like stand up. So he had a legitimate, healthy, semi-fast food business. And I remember working with him, and he was sort of sick and tired of trying to get his head above the others as a legitimate force for healthy food.
Yeah.
But he's competing with the McDonald's and the Burger King, who are claiming such and such and such.
Yeah, quite different
so
to that,
he did a double-blind, placebo-controlled trial with one of the local universities to identify that his offering is legitimate.
Right.
Because everyone's making some sort of claim.
Yeah.
But there is no person with a clipboard that comes around and says all that stuff, other than like your food authority or your health
who are basically checking that your storage is working, your freezers, you're logging your freezer temperatures, things like that. But no one going to, a food place that literally puts sugar as a snake into a bag that you then market to kids. Like, there's no one going, well, hang on a second. Well, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, at
least take the 5-star rating.
They did. They talked about that 5-star rating in Duped, and it was started by one of the biggest.
Star, isn't it? It's like
they don't say which one, but it's one of the biggest.
Like a Nestle or a
Sanitarium or
Kellogg's or something. Yeah, it's
one of them. Not them. Don't sue us. Not them.
Disclaimer.
If you look at what they're saying is 5 stars.
Yeah.
Like Milo gets a 4-star rating or something. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then you see a legit healthy product and it gets a 2-star.
Lean beef or something. A bit like yeah, it's upside down.
Yeah.
So what was the most confronting or alarming thing that you thought came from that doco?
Well, the bit that actually made me cry, tear up and get quite emotional was the blueberry farms in Australia.
Right.
Like, yes, there is slave labour happening with coca beans pretty much all over the world, but primarily in Africa. That goes against what they say, what the label says on it, which is fair, sustainable, no slave labour or whatever.
Slavery, yeah.
That stuff, I think you kind of go, I've sort of heard that before. And yes, I believe that is happening. But I guess in Australia, you sort of expect better.
Higher standards, yeah.
I don't know why, but I guess you do, you hope. But yeah, and we've talked about this before on the Instagram, but the blueberry farms. And not only are they just, is blueberries now on the list of things that you probably need to be careful about eating if they're not organically farmed, because the amount of sprays that are on them. What did we find when we looked into it? There's like 10 different chemicals that are used on blueberries, on any one blueberry. They did a study on it. But the conditions of the people that they're using. So basically it's like they're operating in almost like an employment black market, where they can pay people well below the minimum wage. They don't get pay slips. They don't get the hours that they've done on there. They just get an amount.
Not cash, but it's payment?
Yeah, it's cash. They pay cash. And so these people, like this example he was a Japanese working, he was on a working visa, a Japanese tourist on a working visa, and he got employment at one of these blueberry farms. I can't remember how long he worked there for, but if you see him, the first thing you notice is his skin. And he's got this skin condition now from the chemicals that he used. No safety around the chemicals that they were using. And then he talks about, the experience, what he got paid, and then what he has to pay for the accommodation. So they get something like $400 or $500 a week, but on top of that, they pay $100 for their accommodation. But then you should see the accommodation. It's putrid. putrid. 16 people, all on just mattresses that are like skanky ass mattresses.
I've stayed in some skanky hostels back in the day.
Yeah, like the worst hostel you could put. Like if you were backpacking through a country and you walked in that hostel, you turn around and walk out. There's no way you'd get me sleeping in there. Cockroaches everywhere, mold everywhere. Just horrible conditions, and working 10 hours a day.
Without
heat,
protective,
extreme heat,
protective gear by the sounds of it.
Without protective gear, without people giving a shit about, how they treat people who work for them, basically. Like zero standards for these people. This guy's story made me cry. I just thought it's so inhumane what these people are doing. And then not only that, but what they're doing to the land. It's all up, near the farm, all Coffs Harbour area. Just those, you drive around and you go, what's that? It's a blueberry farm. You've seen them. But
well, it's funny, isn't it? Like I was saying to one of our suppliers this morning that I think we're very quick to kind of cast aspersions on other areas of the world that are producing food and their standards and their workers' welfare standards and their ethics and values and stuff. Immediately you think of China and they'll be cutting corners and can't be trusted for food safety stuff, but it's probably on our own doorstep. I think that doco, what became strikingly evident is that obviously those big players, the supermarkets, but also the big food companies that own multiple brands. I think there's so many links in that supply chain from origin to retail that there's risk of tampering at some level.
Yeah. And I think the relationships are sort of lost along the way.
Yeah.
That relationship
because
that you're
so many steps away from the responsibility of either direction, so that to the endpoints, the two endpoints of the retailer and the grower or the producer. And so if you've got dozens of connecting points along that chain, I guess you just, you're sort of like, oh, well, I'm not responsible for either end. And so you can sort of like, but I guess it's very hard to manage in real terms. Like, how do you patrol any of that? And as long as there's humans involved, they're probably going to find a way to cut a corner. I think it's probably in a lot of humans' nature to kind of.
Well, yeah, and especially in food where the margins are small anyway.
Yeah, also just sort of closing that conversation, but it's also like Four Corners in the business of producing, like thought-provoking, controversial documentaries. So they're going to showcase the worst of the worst and not even mention that. I don't know, it kind of leaves you with this doom and gloom version of our food production. And I don't think, going back to how I started this about the difference between how you interpret things and how I interpret things, maybe I'm naive, but I'd like to think that because there are food producers like us, and we know a bunch of people, either within our business or over the course of our lifetime, that are in food that have integrity, it stands to reason that it's not shit right across the board. It's not all been tampered with. There is some good actors and bad actors.
Yeah, but I frankly think it's great to be even looking at food. I feel like the food industry they don't get to see how food is produced. They don't get to see how companies cut corners at the cost of the consumer. Anyway, that was my trend. That's what sent me into a state of anxiety. What's your trend, Scott? What's been on your mind? What's been on your radar?
Well, it's actually the opposite to a trend. It's a non-trend. So, how for the last, I don't know, maybe, I want to say at least 5 years, we've seen this like rise in the number of people cold plunging, cold exposure, either in oceans, rivers, or, backyard ice baths. And I guess it started off with sort of the health influencers doing it, and then it spilled out into the general population. And every Tom, Dick and Harry was like, posting on socials about getting into a cold plunge. People,
I've done it for 5 minutes. Oh, I've done it for 10 or 30.
Cracking the ice in lakes. And
Wim Hof, he got a circulated, didn't he?
Oh, well, he got another sort of
second wind.
Yeah, for sure. There is something quite interesting about Wim Hof, I heard, and whether there's any truth in it doesn't matter, that he's got a twin brother.
Yeah.
So Wim Hof is all about mind over, a mental state over a physical state. He's known for
his breathing techniques.
He's known for his underwater, breath hold, cold exposure, walking barefoot in shorts up some crazy mountain and all that stuff. But when you look at his physiology, he's got a twin brother, that there's not much difference between his twin brother's physiology in terms of brown fat and, which is
What, and he doesn't do any of the stuff that Wim Hof does?
I think I'd have to probably fact check this, but I heard he was a truckie.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Okay.
That could all be bullshit. But we're not here for factual conversations.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think he's trying to put good into the world. But I guess my point is that I'm not seeing it anymore, ever. And I'm sure people are still doing it.
Well, you're not doing it anymore, though. I wonder if that affects your algorithm of not seeing it.
But I never posted about it.
No, I know, but you might have...
What, it knows that I'm doing?
No, but you would have been interested in ice baths and people who, when you were doing it, you would have been interested in it. So you would have been looking at that content. That content might have come up and you would have been going, oh, yeah, that person's sure of it.
Well, I would have never...
You said there was a time where it was all over your feed.
Yeah, no, totally. But I don't know whether that's...
house... We didn't bring our ice bath with us. We stopped doing ice baths.
Don't see it. Don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it anyway. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
It's horrendous.
But I think, obviously, with all trends, they have their time in the sun, so it stands to reason that it would peter off at some point. It's just one of those new health movements, and whilst it's novel, it gets a lot of eyeballs looking at it through the algorithms. Yeah. But I literally don't see it at all anymore. But also there's been a lot of pushback in the science because cold exposure was having this sort of cure-all propaganda that it, is good for mood, good for weight loss, good for cognitive function, good for
resilience,
your nails, your hair, your eyesight, your sleep, recovery and all that, everything, you know. So people jumped on it like nothing else. But the science is, there has been a lot of pushback. Right. And so in terms of recovery, it doesn't stack up. So if you're, lifting weights and running, you don't want to be jumping in an ice bath. It has some inflammation lowering qualities.
Yeah.
But you kind of need that inflammation to build the muscle that you're after.
Right.
So I guess that comes down to timing. But I guess the pushback is that any claims that it's stood up to make, the evidence is mild to minimal.
Really?
The sample sizes for these studies were often very small.
Right.
And it's one exposure. So to get some sort of validity, and reliability of anything, you need longitudinal studies.
Right.
You need a large sample size over a long period of time, just like sauna has that.
Right.
So what it has shown is that it has some effect, some small effect on mood, which is probably attributed to the temporary lift in mood as a consequence of your sympathetic nervous system being activated. You've got cortisol and adrenaline, dopamine pumping through your system, so you're naturally dialed in for a time.
Yeah.
But it's very much tethered to the cold exposure. It's not like you're going to be in that mental state for a long period of time after. It has some but minimal effect on sleep.
Right.
improve sleep. But again, the evidence and the studies are small sample sets, one exposure, so that it's sort of like the science is a little bit weak. And I guess there needs to be attention drawn to the cardiovascular risk.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not without its risk. If you jump into, like probably nothing
Freezing
new
cold
here,
water.
but if you jump into an ice bath or a cold river or whatever your version is, the physiological response, you kind of go into sort of, I guess, semi-shock. Like it's, even though you know you're going to do it and it's voluntary and you do it every day, it's still, your body interprets it as a shock. Like, so you get a rapid spike in blood pressure, heart rate, your sympathetic nervous system just goes through the roof. Yeah. And so if you've got some sort of pre-existing cardiovascular issue, maybe undiagnosed, you're putting yourself at risk. And so I think during that period when it was trending, none of this was being spoken about. And people have come a cropper because they've got some pre-existing and then they're like exposed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess it comes down to a cost benefit kind of analysis. And does the benefit of regular cold exposure really stack up? Well, the science isn't really there. It's not to say it won't come down the line, but at the moment it's not really there. And let's, acknowledge the risk of jumping into an ice bath.
Certainly, like, I am very happy not to do it, and I don't do it. However, I did do it, for a time, as did you. And I it was hell while you're doing it, but I felt pretty amazing after. And I think I felt, and I think what it did is I think there is something to say for the resilience that it gives you. Like, I felt like if I stayed in an ice bath for a couple of minutes, or when I was doing it for like habitually at one point, I was getting up to 10 minutes in the 7-degree pool. I think I was a better mum. Like, I think that because
for those 7 minutes,
for the 7 minutes that I wasn't with my kids,
you're amazing.
No, I think it's like your tolerance for something hard strengthens. Like, you
totally, which has equivalence in a hard workout, right?
Yeah.
You know the thing that you're about to do is uncomfortable. And I think there's a lot of merit in that. And so the science around cold exposure doesn't really touch on that. And I guess it's discipline and how that strengthens your resolve against other challenges that you may come across in the day.
But isn't I guess obviously there's been people who have responded to it in a negative way. You're saying about the shock thing, but isn't the whole point actually to slow your heart rate? Like, isn't the whole point to get into the freezing cold and breathe and bring your heart rate down?
100%. So you're trying to, so the cold exposure, it sends everything through the roof. Like, your sympathetic nervous system gets, you're dropping into like 2 degrees, 3 degrees. It's very kind of confronting for you, So there's a physiological response. And so to buttress that and combat that and kind of like be at one with that almost, you employ sort of breathing techniques to kind of somewhat equalize. But that first period of getting in, like, it's this big spike of adrenaline. I don't think you can overcome that. Well, maybe you can mitigate it to some degree.
There was I've noticed that, like, it's one of the things that pregnant women do in like preparing for labor. It's like, go into cold water and try and regulate your breathing, because obviously when you're in labor,
like rehearsing for contractions.
I guess it's something that's very uncomfortable that you have to, under the uncomfortableness of it, you have to try and get your breathing to a point where it's, you're not whatever the power is that people have to calm themselves down in labor and in cold therapy, I suck at. I think some people are just a lot better at it.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think all that comes with regular exposure, you sort of learn what works for you. I mean, I was doing it here, actually. I forgot. And then I guess I've had some tattoos recently, and so that stops you going into the pool. But up until recently, I was going in every morning.
Yeah, you were jumping in, weren't
Not
you?
really. I don't think about any of the physiological benefits. I don't really. It's actually the discipline and not letting yourself off the hook, which is the thing that I do it for. But
and also just the starting your day jumping in, like it's like going and jumping in the ocean in the morning. Like it must have an effect on your day.
Yeah, I think, like purely anecdotal, and, N equals 1 here, but yeah, it does put a little spring in your step. You go in that pool for like a minute even.
You're like, oh, I am awake.
Yeah.
I'm ready for
head
the day.
of the gang. Like the culmination of that and a strong coffee, you're kind of like...
Yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of like, I mean, I know a lot of people were doing it for the activation of beige fat to brown fat, which is all energetic tissue, and how that feeds into your total metabolism for the day, and it's a recipe for weight loss. I think there's easier ways to manipulate. Yes, there's definitely easier ways to manipulate that than like it's
than getting in a freezing cold pot of water.
Yeah.
I just was going to say something, but I was going to say that for all those people out there who were hating us last week for encouraging people to strength train, you're off the hook. You're off the hook for freezing cold.
Yeah. I don't know whether I just deliberately went and found all that information to get myself off the hook.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think so. You're like, I'm not doing.
But what I did find
anymore.
was interesting.
Let's find the evidence that supports that.
Yeah. What I did find interesting that for longevity and health, you can't go past sex on a regular basis.
Do you want to just, because we have to wrap this up, do you want to just do you have a mud and a muck?
Don't actually. I can't think of anything.
You can't think of anything that was just great that happened this week. Sometimes the super small ones are just the best.
I guess my muck for this week could be like, I've gotten to the point where I almost chuckle to myself that there's just this, as a business owner, there is just always something that you have to like manage or fix, or unfortunately I have a great team, but it's sort of I'm like the point of contact. So it's like, the fridge has stopped working, or that just blew a fuse, or, whatever. And it's just every day. It's like, and it gets to a point. And I think your dad said it, that life is all about just solving.
I said it.
Yeah, but I think your dad said it.
No,
first.
I read it.
You read it?
Yeah, I read it.
Well, I think Brian Brown wrote it.
No, he didn't. No, life is just a series of problem solving.
Yeah.
So if you fix one problem, another one presents itself. Yeah. It's just, if you can just accept that in life.
No, I have finally accepted that. I probably wouldn't have got to that point having not had a business, but having a business, you're just like, that stopped working. I need to change that. What do you mean that's broken? It's just a series of those, like literally every day.
Yeah.
And you just go, okay, well, how do I fix it? How do I solve it?
Yeah. You become quite zen about it. It's just part of it.
Yeah. It's like an eye roll. It's like a chuckle to yourself now. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, here's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Is that the muck and the magic?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, cool. My muck and magic is, I banged on about it at the beginning, really. It's a combination thing. It's really great to, be able to go, okay, let's attempt a podcast. And then obviously there's another side of that, which is like everything you have to contend with when you do that, the amount of work, a little comment that comes in that you just, not that there's been any negative comments about the podcast specifically, but I just know at some point there's going to be.
Even after all these episodes?
They will come. There will be that. And it will derail me for a minute.
Yeah.
But I guess that is, I hope I can come to the point of being zen about that in the way that you are with the problems that arise in the business.
Well, I don't want to say like I'm 100% zen. I'm not, there's a few expletives in there.
I know, I wish I could be more water off a duck's back about it. I don't know if I'll ever get there because I am quite a sensitive person.
Yeah, there are some people that I know that are just so Teflon when it comes to negative.
Mum's pretty good at that.
Your mum?
I think she's had the times where it's really affected her, and now I think she doesn't give two fucks.
Yeah, well, that's almost a superpower, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Ricky Gervais is one of those people. He just
unbelievable
talks his thing, whether you like it or not, is by the by. And he would get a lot of criticism. That's not funny. That's offensive, and he just seemingly doesn't give a fuck. I was like, I want to be more like that.
Teach me your ways, Ricky.
Yeah. Was I like Pete Evans, like just to bring it home a bit? Like
I'm sure he's had to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure.
That resolve.
He just seems so resilient.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
That's what they say. Brian Brown said that.
Oh, credit my dad with everything. Anyway, the audience question today was actually a really good one. Every week, we're going to answer an audience question. So if you've got one, please leave it in the comments so that we can get around to it. This was the audience question today. How close is your current business model to your first business plan? Which I thought was a great question.
Bit presumptuous that we had a business plan.
Well, we didn't have one. We didn't have a business plan. So,
well, in terms of like the first business model, it's very different. The first business model was a cow share scheme that meant that we were taking cows off your mum's paddock, getting them processed, selling that meat as 5 kilo boxes or 10 kilo boxes or pick and choose.
Basically an online regenerative butcher.
Yeah. And now we don't do any of that side of things. We just procure that type of meat with those ethics and values. And we add some veggies and some seasoning and all the rest of it and turn it into meals. So yes, it's still in the food space.
Instead of an online regenerative organic butchery, we're an online organic regenerative ready meals company.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, that's a wrap on that episode. We'll see you next week for more. Hopefully.
Stay tuned.
Unless Matilda has another anxiety-inducing episode and decides to can it.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.